That's right. It's round number 3, 2 rounds in the books. And for our feature match this round, we're going to have an exciting team ready for you as they come up onto the stage to begin their duel. That's right. It's Jesse Cotton. You may know him. Aaron Furman and Asalu Wathutanjage. This team has been a 3v3 team many times before. It's the Mare Layer. These guys are great friends, great, excellent duelists. I mean, if you've been paying attention to anything lately, you definitely know Jesse Cotton's name. But now here come their opponents, who probably know slashes themselves. Definitely excited. Something I don't want to spoil too much. Not only are these top players ready to be in a feature match for this thing, they're all playing really cool decks. Decks that I'm excited to see here this weekend. You think Jesse Cotton, you think Tearlament. Some people say maybe the best Tearlament player. We'll have to see how he moves away from that strategy. Now here comes the other team, Mike.
Facing off against the Mare Lair, we have Team Nightlife with Brian, Victor, and Everardo.
That's right. My favorite part about these team events is you just go in to duel with your friends. Like, even if you lose, like, oh, sorry guys, I'm out. You got to carry me now. It's only up to you. You kind of pass the baton on to your friend. Like, we got to do this. We got to stick together and work together. Because, I mean, at the end of Yu-Gi-Oh, what is it all about? The power of friendship.
For sure. And you can see just from their opening there, where they all walked out in awesome spirits, worked together for their introductory pose. You could tell that they're so excited about teaming up and they're here to have a great time and also win. But I think that teamwork and camaraderie is actually going to take them very far in this event.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And they also did just participate last weekend. We had a Team YCS in Mexico City, and the Mare Lair made an appearance there as well. They weren't able to secure that spot in the top cut, but they were close. I think maybe they lost on the bubble, which means like that very last round where they had to win to get in. Unfortunately, I think maybe a draw kept them out. I believe like Assault maybe had a draw for a round, which ended up having a draw for their match, so they weren't able to make it to that top cut. But that means they're hungry this weekend. They didn't get to accomplish their goal last weekend, and they're going to come back with a fire here. But even though it's only 1 week apart, completely different formats.
Yeah, that's right, because now we have a new Forbidden and Limited list in effect. The cool thing also about all three of them teaming up is normally when they're all playing in a tournament together, as they often do, only one of them can win. So they're really each other's opponents and rivals. Today, they are teammates, and the same will be true tomorrow if they make it there.
Yeah, funny story. These guys have actually made the finals of a 3v3 or Team YCS before. They actually have. And Asala, who hasn't been able to capture that YCS gold, he wants that trophy. He actually won in the finals of the Team YCS. He won his match, but Furman and Jesse let him down. They both end up losing. So Asala, one of the very few people in this world that has been able to say, I won in the finals, but I didn't get the trophy. But
that's the harsh reality of Team YCS. And, for whoever he beat, he got the windfall of that because the person he beat was given a trophy despite his loss since his teammates won. So
we definitely hope that Jesse and Furman are going to be trying harder here this weekend. But as I said, they are playing really cool decks. I'm not going to spoil it until we get on start, but I'll tell you this. So Jesse looked at the format. I had a little talk with him. I'm like, so what's going on? What are you doing? He's like, okay, well, the best deck, a lot of people, we've seen Kashtira. That's the deck. The deck to beat this weekend is Kashtira. Photon Hypernova just gave them a ton of cards. And so he's tried to pick a strategy that he felt would line up and match up really well into that deck. So we're going to have to see how it works off and if it's going to pay off. And not only is he playing a cool deck, Asal and Furman, who are both on the same strategy, are also playing a really cool deck. I'll go ahead and spoil what they're playing since they're not going to be our feature match here. They're playing a Dark World deck. That's right. Structure Deck Dark World came out in December, and Rainbow has been waiting to be used to at a high-level event like this. And we're going to see if they're going to be able to do well with that. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. It's game number 1, round number 3. It's Jesse Cotton versus Brian Cabral. So let's go ahead and start the duel.
It'll be nice to see a Grapha triumph in the hands of skilled duelists this weekend.
So here comes, he is playing Ninjas. So this is a team of a Ninja player, Jesse Cotton, and 2 Darkwood players. How can we not have them jump on the feature match stage here?
That's incredible because a lot of duelists, if you ask them what are the top decks in this, do you expect to play against at this Team YCS, I think you're going to hear a lot of branded, Flunderies, Sprite. Kashtira, of course, is probably the number 1, but I don't think anyone's saying Dark World, and I don't think a lot of people said Ninjas.
Yep, and now it looks like Brian is off to a good start. He is playing the Despia branded strategy, a strategy I'm a big fan of. He started off with Allure Tragedy, which is a really good start. You get to draw 2 cards, you banish the Tragedy. When Tragedy is banished, it's going to let you add a Despia monster. So you guys Allure, the Jester of the Despia. Oh, and drew into Branded Regained. This is a cool one. If a light or dark monster is banished, you can put it on the bottom of the deck of the owner who banished, the banished pile it is, and then draw a card.
Incredible synergy with the Bestials, which I assume he has in his deck as well.
Yep, Albion is going to reveal itself in hand to send a branded spell or trap to the graveyard or Fallen Albaz. Chooses to send Branded Retribution. Now Albion is going to go to the bottom of the deck, and since he sent it from the deck, he will be able to draw a card. Albion changes its effect based upon where you send the branded spell or trap from. So if you have one in your hand, you can send it from your hand and actually special summon the Albion from your hand. It doesn't come up very often, but useful to know that you're able to do that. But it looks like he does send down Branded Retribution with the Albion. Branded Retribution, you can banish from the graveyard to add a branded spell or trap from your graveyard back to your hand.
There's the Aluber he's searched for earlier in the turn, and he will resolve its effect. And that's going to get him the Branded Fusion.
Yep. And we'll see if he's going to use that Branded Fusion to try and go for the new Rinbrum. Looks like here it goes. Let's see if Rinbrum the Striking Dragon is going to come down. Oh, Jesse has Ash Blossom.
That's the card you want to hit when you're playing against Branded, so a strong hit for Cotton there.
It's tough, yeah. Pretty much that's like the deciding factor when you're trying to, do I want to play my Branded Despia deck? Like, what am I going to do when I get Ash Blossom? How can I deal with the Ash Blossom? And if you just kind of end your turn, then maybe it's not so great. But he does have a Branded opening here. It's going to be able to get him a Despia monster to his either hand or field, so he could either probably add Libitum, I'd imagine. Probably not want to summon it, probably just add it to the hand. He's going to discard the McCourier. So putting the McCourier in the grave now you can banish it to summon a Bestial, and when the McCourier is banished, you'll be able to add a card that mentions Fallen of Albaz. But it does look like the Branded Opium is going to just add Libitum of Despia to the hand.
Any effect targeting.
Wow, so this is a really good hand here from Brian. He did have Branded Fusion plus a Luber plus a Bestial, which, I mean, is just fantastic. So he's going to banish that McCourier, summons the Soraneer. Now, if he can get the Soraneer into the graveyard, he'll be able to send down Branded and White or any other Branded Spell and Trap and add it back to his hand with that Retribution he sent down earlier in the turn with the Albion, the Shrouded Dragon.
He's going to get Blazing Cartesia.
Blazing Cartesia is a fantastic card out of Darkwing Blast. Lets you quick effect fusion summon what's on the field. If you have a Fallen Albaz on your field or graveyard, you can special summon it from your hand, which we know Brian does not have since that Branded Fusion didn't resolve.
Is that one?
Yep, so he's just going to have to hold it in hand. Not a good opening play here from him. Just showing you how devastating Ash Blossom can be if you don't have any sort of a way to get Blazing Cartesia on the field. You need something like Fusion Deployment, Fright for Patchwork, just another way to Fusion Summon if you get Ash Blossom. That's why I like playing both. Some people should use Fusion Deployment or Fright for Patchwork. Let's use it all. I want to make sure I'm always able to Fusion Summon no matter what.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now let's see if Jesse can capitalize on the weakness that Brian showed on his first turn.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards you can have that would be good. Iron Digger, Hanzo would be a good one. It looks like he's going to start with a set monster. Now, you may think this is not normally good, but it could be fine because once there's a set monster on the field, this will enable other cards in his strategy, potentially.
Set monster doesn't mean on the defensive.
The set Solar Trap might mean that a little bit more. Yeah, once he starts setting Solar Traps, he might be a little more on the defensive side of things.
Although ninjas can play on the opponent's turn with those traps, so they can take a very aggressive approach by activating trap cards on the opposing turn.
Yeah, the Ninjutsu Art of Dancing Leaves is a big addition for the deck, because being able to tribute your opponent's monsters, if they're you can tribute a ninja monster or a face-down monster anywhere on the field. So you can use Iron Digger to turn them into ninjas to tribute, or you can tribute just a set monster after you Book of Eclipse or something like that.
Yeah, so Brian commits that Blazing Cartesia to the field.
And it looks like he's going to use the Blazing Cartesia effect to Fusion Summon with itself and Soraneer, probably to make the new Gramigol and the Dusk Dragon.
It looks like he's also fusing with Adlidutum.
Oh, never mind. Is he going for a Guardian Chimera with no effect? Did he make 3 materials?
He did use 3 materials.
Yeah, you cannot activate Guardian Chimera's effect here because it was summoned by a monster effect and not a spell. Yeah, you cannot. Yeah, there's no way Jesse doesn't know this. Yeah, because this goes back to the Predaplants. Like you used to try and fusion summon with the Predaplants. It has to be summoned by a spell card. So he just summons a vanilla Guardian Chimera here. Maybe not knowing this interaction. It's kind of new. Blazing Cartesia. It's kind of an interesting thing. Definitely a slight misstep, but we'll see if he'll be able to recover here from here. Ad Libitum's still going to be able to special summon back the Tragedy since it was sent to the graveyard. And he's going to be able to send a branded Speller Trap from his deck to the graveyard thanks to that Bestial Soraneer. Or he can send a Bestial. So even with Soraneer, sometimes you can just send down the Bestial Lubellion if you have like a dragon you want to tribute and you didn't draw Lubellion. It's kind of cool. That's the best part. I think Joe was kind of touching on it last time. The best part of the branded deck is there's a lot of flex spots. There's a lot of, you can make a lot of different decisions in your deck building, and then a lot of different decisions in terms of your gameplay as how you're going to progress.
He goes for branded in white to the graveyard.
Yep, that's a good one. He doesn't have Fallen Albaz just yet, so unless it's in his hand, the Brandon White's not going to be too useful, but he's definitely going to want to find a way to get to Albaz. He hasn't even been able to use the effect of the Regained yet. Which is, I think he just used it here, though. So he finally was able to use the effect of Brandon Regained. He's going to go to battle and attack the face-down monster. So he's going to use the Dancing Leaves. This lets him tribute a face-down monster on the field to summon any ninja.
That's pretty awesome. And it's great because there have always been so many activation requirements, restrictions on what they can summon, and stipulations on all of these ninjutsu art trap cards. And
like wing beasts, dragons.
Exactly. Insects. But this card actually just lets you get any ninja. It's beautiful simplicity.
So he's going to treat his face down Mitsu, the insect ninja, and now is going to probably summon a Jiho from his deck, if I had to guess. Oh, no, he's going for Hanzo. Okay. Doesn't really need Jiho, yeah. The field that Brian currently has is not very threatening, so nothing he needs to put face down permanently. But he's going to go for Hanzo, and then...
Hanzo has two different effects, depending on whether it's normal summoned or special summoned. Since it's special summoned, he's going to be able to add a ninja monster to his hand. Had it been normal summoned, he would get the ninjutsu art card.
Exactly. And now since Jesse special summoned a monster, it's going to trigger the second effect of Branded Regain to allow him to special summon back a Bestial from the graveyard. So he'll be able to bring back that Soraneer to the field.
No, chain link 1, chain link 2.
Okay.
So here comes the Soraneer. Looks like he's going to grab Baku. Baku out of Darkwing Blast. Definitely a cool one. If it's added to your hand, I believe you can special summon it.
So chain link 1 after.
Yep, and here it comes.
To do what?
So this card is added to your hand instead by drawing a special summon this card. This card is special summoned or flip face up, target ninja, and it's your art card from your grave or face up back row and add it to your hand.
Yep, so it's really cool because you get to recycle the ninja's art you just used while you're getting a monster on the board. Oh, here we go. Duplication. Or multiplication. Yeah, this is amazing.
So now he can tribute his Hanzo and special summon ninjas from his deck, totaling level 4.
Yeah, you would think, oh, maybe it's just swapping out for another level 4, but no, these new ninjas are low level. Let's see what he gets.
And it's nice Hanzo is no longer tied to the Dancing Leaves, so when he returns it to his hand, it's a free card.
You see, you're seeing the wheels working the layers. It looks like that's a Tobari, which is a 1-star monster. A Mitsu, which is a 2. Oh, no, doesn't look like he wants to grab Mitsu. Just 2 Tabaris. Put one face down, one face up.
Yeah, of course.
Tabari lets you quick effect fusion summon. And then there's a brand new fusion monster out of Photon Hypernova that it gives you some disruption. It lets you to banish a card on your opponent's side of the field by just banishing a ninjutsu arter, I believe, and a ninja, or either or from your graveyard to banish a card on the field.
Is that one a Green Ninja?
It does look like it. Green Ninja is a brand new card out of Photon Hypernova.
So that's going to total his 4 levels.
I don't know how you had it.
This face down defense.
Okay.
And don't forget about Baku, who still needs to hit the field.
Yep.
And
then Baku's effect on summon gets to add. Yep.
I'm going to target the Hanzo, I think. Yeah, target the Hanzo.
Just add back from the graveyard. Here comes the Hanzo back to be summoned again. So you basically searched Hanzo out of the deck, used Hanzo's effect, got a bunch of other monsters, and added the Hanzo back to his hand for follow-up. We're starting to see why these ninjas are actually a serious contender here.
So at the moment, the Dancing Leaves is just remaining on the field meaninglessly, right?
That's what it looks like.
But
now,
it's there to be able to bring back at a subsequent point in the game if the opportunity arises.
So the quick effect for Tobari is going to happen here, and Jesse's going to either fusion summon for Mazen or the new fusion monster, Jagumaru. I believe I said that right. Looks like Mazen, though.
On
So when Green Ninja is sent to the graveyard, he's able to flip a monster face down. So that's what's happening.
Any crazy effects this guy has?
Has the 3 effects.
Mason has. You definitely want to read that card before you activate another card or effect.
Riot asks if it has any effects. Jesse tells him it has 3.
Yeah, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can special summon a ninja from your deck face up or face down. So pretty much anything you try and do while Mason's on the field, he's going to run back into the deck and grab someone to help you. You know, he's a little sneaky ninja. The shinobi kind of all join in together, and all of a sudden you're fighting a swarm of them.
Yeah, I love the play style of the ninja deck to imitate the stealth of the ninjas.
It's awesome. Guardian Chimera is going to take down Baku by battle.
Not bad for a monster with no effects.
You know, I'm seeing some similarities. I think Jesse, maybe it wasn't the tier limit strategy he liked. He just liked playing Yu-Gi-Oh! On his opponent's turn. So he's like, oh, now that my tier limit deck, got limited in the last Forbidden Limitless, I'm going to find the next best deck to be able to play during your turn. But it looks like Brian is going to main phase 2 use Retribution to add back Grand White.
It's a card effect, yeah. First summon a ninja from your deck in face up or face down defensive position.
And so since he activated the effect, he gets to summon a ninja. This will be the only one he gets to do this turn, but
Are we going to see Hanzo again?
I imagine so.
If memory serves, Hanzo's not restricted to once per turn, but no.
Kagero's good too.
He's getting Kagero, the cannon ninja.
Yeah, Kagero lets you summon a ninja from your hand or graveyard, I believe. So definitely a good one to have as well. Mason also has the cool effect where it's not just him, all your ninjas can attack directly. So it really can make it easy to just ignore whatever board your opponent has and just swing for game through it with something like Blade Armor Ninja equipped with the Iron Digger. Like that's 8,000 with Mason.
Wow.
Or you equip the Iron Digger to Mason, so it's 3,000, 3,000, and then the Blade Armor Ninja is 22.
I've never actually seen Blade Armor Ninja played in a ninja deck.
Yeah, it's always been in like the Elemental Hero Warrior strategies. All right, finally it's Jesse's turn. Let's see how he navigates this. Another Ash Blossom did stop that Brand of Fusion, it looks like.
Are you saying that wasn't Jesse's turn?
He loves playing on his opponent's turn.
It certainly felt like Jesse's turn.
Flip summons Baku.
An effect targeting to add back Yumitsu.
Sure.
Non-flip. Baku, I think it triggers if it's normal summon, flip summon, special summon, just if it's summoned anyway. That's the cool part about ninjas.
That's awesome. So when it flips down and flips back up, you get to use it again.
Huh?
If it works on the flip summon as well.
Hey, read this.
Sure. Where are we on time? 30 minutes.
Now it looks like he's going to fusion summon. Oh, Link Summon. You never really know, but it's a Link Summon for Saizo. Saizo,
Yes.
incredible. He's going to be able to get a ninjutsu art from the deck to the field.
He didn't declare the effect of Tabari, so that makes sense that it's a Link summon.
But you can make them both by just sending the monsters.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
They're also just contact fusions.
You know all about Gladiator Beasts.
Gladiator Beasts go to the deck.
Yeah, it's a little
they're
different. Little different. So it looks like he did grab the Iron Digger here, so he's going to set that. And even though, so normally when you set a ninjutsu art, it's a trap, so you can't activate it right away. But Iron Digger, equip spell.
Equip the Iron Digger to Maizen.
So now Maizen has 3,000 attack.
Uh-oh. Are we going to see exactly what you predicted?
To be fair, I got this combo from him. This is not something I came up on my own. He talked to me about it, so I was like, okay, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, Is Blade Armor Ninja coming? Let's see. Jesse obviously knows this deck extremely well. I heard him talking about it, and he is
Targeting this?
exceptionally proficient with it.
Yep, certainly. Oh, Book of Eclipse. But not too bad. So the thing about Iron Digger is when it's into the graveyard, you can add back a banished ninja or special summon it face down. So definitely we'll still get some value out of it. It's also going to trigger the Mason here.
So Jesse will special summon a monster from his deck, then all of Jesse's monsters, other than obviously the Link monster, which can't go face down, the rest of them will go face down. But as you had mentioned before, that actually won't stop him from continuing to fusion summon, because you just have to send those monsters from the field to the graveyard to do so.
Iron Digger effect, special summon.
Yep, and it looks like he is going to use the Iron Digger's effect to special summon the green ninja face down.
Ninja face down.
And if you take a look on the right, we get to see the table scores. It does look like Asala took game 1 with his Dark World strategy. So probably won the die roll there, and maybe Grafa just went to town.
How many cards you have in hand?
1.
I still remember when Grafa took over YCS Columbus so many years ago.
Who could forget?
Fantastic time.
Attack Mitsu, special.
So he gets a special Mitsu since he controls a face-down defense position monster.
Flip summon.
Flip summons the Mazen. Since it was summoned during the opponent's turn, he still gets to be able to change that battle position. And as you said, you're still able to fusion summon by sending them to the graveyard since they're ninja monsters to summon another Mazen. So this is a lot of damage already. It's 5,000. I believe Saizo's 18.
Effect.
Kagero's at least 1,200 or 4. I think it might be 14.
And they can all attack directly, correct?
Yep. Kagero's 1,600, excuse me.
Yep.
Battle phase.
That's
Let's go.
gonna be it.
It's time to sneak past your opponent's defenses, and the ninjas are going in. Jesse Cotton, 4-time YCS champion, 1-time UDS champion, one of the most decorated players in the game right now, piloting ninjas. I hope all the way to the top.
It's starting to look like it will be.
Mazen is such a good card. Like, attacking directly is really fantastic. Like, he didn't have to put his opponent's monsters face down. Brian put his own monsters face down with his own Book of Eclipse. Like, this is capitalizing on a format. This is with everyone coming in this weekend is like, oh, Book of Eclipse, that's a guarantee included in my deck. I'm going to be able to use it against other strategies. It's still a solid card, but now you're seeing the benefits of playing against that. Like, being able to, that's so incredible. Because he knows, like, this is exact scenario is going to come up where someone's going to have to Book of Eclipse their own monsters, but it just doesn't matter. You're clearing the way for the ninjas just to keep going.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I don't think Jesse would consider this his best matchup, but I did hear him talk about how his deck interacts so favorably with Book of Eclipse, Book of Moon, and other effects that put monsters face down, which a lot of duelists are expecting to be very popular this weekend because of how well they work against Kashtira decks. And that's what we saw there. We saw that Book of Eclipse that his opponent flipped, thinking, all his monsters are face down. There's no way he's going to beat me now. And it didn't matter because Jesse won that turn.
Yeah, it's so. I kind of saw the writing on the wall. If he's just able to keep, because you just need to get ninjas on the field. Like if you just get more names on the field, you can summon more Mazens when they're face up. You can link for Saizo. Like there's a lot. You've seen the resource replenishment too. The cards add back from the graveyard. They can add back from the banish zone. They can special summon from the banish zone. You get to activate cards from your deck. You get to special summon monsters from your deck. These are all really good things. And going into this, people are like, oh yeah, ninjas, World Sea Dragons, Atlantis. You go first. You summon Hanzo a million times. You do some crazy combos. No, you can just play it like a solid strategy, something like almost like a Salamangreat, like a mid-range, like kind of control the game, and then just a big swing all in one turn. I mean, I think the biggest thing we saw there was the duplication, like how impactful duplication can really be. When you have one of each of those ninjutsu arts, and you can go into Hanzo and then duplicate the Hanzo, and it's pretty much everything you need.
Yeah, I mean, Hanzo effectively replaces itself with a card from your deck, and then duplicating it into 3 more ninjas was just extraordinary.
Yeah, I think a lot of the players didn't like. I mean, we always heard like rumors like, oh, some people are like, oh, ninjas are good, but now we're really actually seeing like now they finally got that second wave of Photon Hypernova of cards to go with those cards they got in Darkwing Blast. The ninja strategy's back on the map.
Yeah, and when one of the top duelists in North America decides to take it to a YCS, and not just any YCS, but a YCS where he has teammates counting on him, it's hard not to take notice.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me that this team was going to enter this tournament with ninjas and Dark Worlds, I would have been like, wait, I wouldn't even say what year are you in, because like ninjas, like unless you're playing Duel Links, the ninjas really didn't have too much of their time in the mainstream meta, but definitely awesome to see here, seeing like such decorated duelists bringing such innovative strategies, something new and refreshing, but also strong and good. Like we saw some of the ninja deck last weekend at Lyon also, and now that's coming together, people have more time to play test with it, figure out the best kind of plays, and fantastic to see. But Brian, not out of it, still definitely on this branded strategy. We're seeing last round, we're going to probably see a lot of branded. Mirror Jade just got that Starlight Rare and Photon Hypernova, so definitely a lot of cool things you can do in branded. It's one of my personal favorite decks. Now, I wonder how ninjas do with side decking. Like, I wonder if any of the cards that you would side deck for other strategies might be able to carry over and help you in the matchup against ninjas. I mean, evenly matched.
I don't think so.
Not really. It's a little different. You'd go for spell and trap removal. Maybe if you have Cosmic Cyclones in your deck because you're expecting Runic Sprite, so you'd have some Cosmic Cyclones that you can chain to the Ninjutsu arts. That's probably like your ideal answer, or just any sort of spell and trap removal. But something I've noticed, at least in this past like year, I mean, going back to like Mystic Mine, players just refuse to use spell and trap removal. Like, sometimes they just don't include it, and then they just get so mad because they lost the Mystic Mine because they don't play any way to destroy it in their entire deck. And it's just the most bizarre scenario I've ever. Even if you're including spell and trap removal will make your opening hands not as optimal sometimes, you're going to have a percentage of hands where you're going to brick, as it were, which I don't agree with. You still need to include those options so you don't just lose outright to a specific card that everyone's using.
Yeah, I think not using it in your main deck is sometimes defensible because
for sure.
Some decks are really unaffected by the spell and trap card removal just because of the way the game sometimes develops. But I think not using it in your side deck at least for this tournament where you're expecting Labyrinth will be a deck
Very true.
and you're expecting Runic decks will be prevalent, I think would be a wild miscalculation. So I think there's going to be at least some back row removal at Brian's disposal if he chooses to put it in. But part of the challenge is he's playing against ninjas, which he may have never played against before, as he is reading the cards. Does he even know what to put in? And that's the thing. And it does.
You know that interaction's good. Yeah.
And it does play differently than so many decks that it's not like, okay, this deck has a bunch of dark and light monsters. I'll put Bestials in. It's not so straightforward. And it looks like so far there's a clean sweep on one side of the table.
No, it looks like Aaron.
Jesse, Aaron, and Asala all took game one, and they're all in game two.
Yep, all playing these innovative strategies. Brian's going to start game two just like he started game one, with Aluber going to grab Branded Fusion. Now, Jesse had 2 Ash Blossoms last time. We'll have to see if he has it yet again. No Ash Blossom. All right, now we're going to get to see the power of Branded Fusion. This deck is night and day different when Branded Fusion resolves versus when it doesn't. So we'll be able to see. I'm assuming he's going to go for Renbrum the Striking Dragon here. That's my new favorite Branded Fusion target ever since the release of, well, Renbrum the Striking Dragon in Photon Hypernova. Because it lets you send down Fallen Albaz and Mercurier. Okay, yeah, you got to send one other monster. Fallen Albaz is guaranteed you have to send Albaz, so he's going to take a minute to think. So your options are a dark monster, a light monster, or Mercurier, pretty much, for most strategies, because you can go into Lubellion, or you can go into send down Tragedy when you go into Lubellion, or you summon Albion, and then you can banish. You can send down the Bestial Lubellion, and that's the way you can get access to that. But yeah, it looks like he's going for the old school. This is the old traditional Branded Fusion, send down Tragedy, make Lubellion. If you play Master Duel, you're probably familiar with this play. Discarding Ad Libitum. This is very Master Duel.
Yeah, it's pretty standard.
Yep. Yeah, this is sometimes you kind of fall back on the standard stuff if you don't have Bestials in your hand, or you don't have like any way to banish the Mercurier from your graveyard that you would send for making Renbrum. So he's going to grab follow-up. Yeah, it's unfortunate he had the Ad Libitum and still chose to send down the Tragedy because, yeah, you're just adding another copy of Aluber, which isn't going to get you very far this turn. But now the Lubellion is going to shuffle itself. Well, Lubellion returns the extra deck. Fallen Albaz shuffles back in the deck to summon Mirror Jade. Now, is he going to do the classic Mirror Jade, send Albion to banish Aluber? Yep, this is the classic.
He is.
So this will let him have access to either Branded in red or Branded Banishment.
Thanks to Albion's effect in the end phase.
Yep, and so Branded red will let him have Disruption with Guardian Chimera since it lets you fuse from your hand as well. While Branded Banishment lets you fuse with your opponent's monsters, but you can't fuse with cards in your hand, so you won't be able to make Guardian Chimera. So those are kind of your 2 decision trees on which one you're wanting to set.
Yep.
So yeah, this is just old school classic Branded combo.
As you predicted, he is going for Branded in red.
Yeah, he did go for Guardian Chimera in that last game, so I imagine that is one of his favorite, like his go-to cards. And when you have the situation where you've already burned the Mirror Jade effect, but you have that Ad Libitum, you're really going to need it. to be able to recycle the Mirror Jade and special summon it back, so you'll be able to use his effect again. So he has like 2 points of disruption plus whatever he has face down.
Not a bad first turn.
Not terrible. Nothing too fancy, but you know, sometimes you don't need to be fancy.
And phase 1.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to be consistent.
Yep.
And you know, he did what his deck consistently does, and has a decent amount of disruption for Jesse.
And there we see a Starlight Pot of Prosperity coming down for Jesse. See if he goes for 3 or 6. Looks like 6.
I'm looking forward to the new foiling on Prosperity in the pot collection.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to check that out. And make sure you go pre-order your pot collection. You get all the figures and cards. Definitely want to check out the pot collection. For more information, you should go to yu-gi-oh-card.com.
6 is fine.
Go over to the product page, and it'll tell you all about our cool upcoming products, like the pot collection. Now we see the Notebook of Mystery, which is a really good one. If your opponent controls a monster, you can set a ninjutsu, art, and ninja monster from your deck and graveyard, one from each, but you could just do one from your deck if you choose.
I think there's a decent chance he'll take that, right? It's basically a wild card in these
I'm thinking
for the ninjas in his deck.
Yeah, it's either between that or the Ash Blossom, because he could get the if he has already like some good ninja cards in hand, he can grab the Ash Blossom to ensure he won't be met with Branded Fusion on the following turn. But if he doesn't have a good hand, oh, he's going for Grave. Okay, I didn't even notice that was Grave as a super organism. So that card is insane against Branded. It says level 6 or higher monsters can't attack or activate their effects. I'm pretty sure. So
Okay.
with Branded strategy, completely reliant on those giant fusion monsters. No really ways to link summon. It's a pretty good one.
I thought that was a ninjutsu art.
It kind of looked like one covered up. Right?
Yeah, no. Grave of the Super Ancient Organism is,
It's a good one.
yeah, really good for this matchup.
There's always like formats where that comes in and out, or like there's a deck that it lines up really well with, and it's just so good.
Yeah, cards that have the ability to shut down specific types of cards tend to kind of flow in and out of the tournament scene.
All right, and looks like Jesse's going to set 4 cards to his spell and trap card zone.
Thinking on that. Yeah.
So once he flips the Grave of the Super Ancient Organism, that'll effectively shut down the Mirror Jade.
Yeah, he can. He's going to be able to go for Guardian Chimera right here, and maybe try and get rid of one of the back rows while he draws 2 cards. So maybe he can hit the Grave. Now, I don't think Jesse would put the Grave by itself by the deck, but maybe that's what he wants Brian to think, that he would never put it on its own, so he would never target the one that's by itself, the mind games.
Yeah, don't fall for the mind games. Just pick 3 random cards.
Roll a die.
Or-
Makes it
or-
make a decision.
Or however many random cards he's allowed to destroy as opposed to draw.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So here comes the Guardian Chimera. Now this time it will be able to activate this effect since it was fusion summoned via a spell card. And then ad libitum, since it was banished for a fusion summon, will special summon back that Mirror Jade to the field.
The Guardian Chimera can be targeted, though, because Polymerization is not in the graveyard.
Very true, very true. That's a good one. I would have picked that one too. It is the Grave.
Oh.
It's the Grave. That's rough.
So he only gets to destroy 1 card because only 1 fusion material was from the field.
Yep. Draws 2.
That was certainly a good hit because it's the card that Jesse wanted when he banished 6 cards with Pot of Prosperity.
Yeah, I mean, now Brian has these 2 giant monsters on the field. Mirror Jade's effects back online. I would have maybe thought for a second and considered using Mirror Jade's effect to banish my own Guardian Chimera right here just to set Branded Retribution. Maybe, I don't know. I'd at least maybe taken a second to think, but maybe not. But it looks like Albion is going to be activated in the hand. Probably going to send down Branded Retribution if it's still in his deck.
I can't imagine it wouldn't be.
Yep, there it is. Branded Retribution lets him banish itself to add back one of those branded spell or traps like Branded Fusion or Branded in red. So he's got a couple options. And then that Albion's going to go to the bottom of the deck as he draws a new card. Next up is, well, we knew he had that Aluber that he added off the Tragedy last turn.
Jesse needs some really good face-down cards if he wants to survive this turn.
Yeah, imagine if he has like Book of Eclipse and then like Dancing Leaves. He doesn't have to book. He could have like book a Moon and Dancing Leaves and just go into Jiho and then book the other two face down. So he just needs some sort of
would be good.
some sort of 2-card. Oh, it's another Grave.
Oh, I
So-
was just thinking. I wonder if he took Grave thinking that Brian would destroy one. So he actually took a second copy of Grave,
Yeah.
which does nothing in duplicates, in anticipation of Brian's play. That's incredible.
Yeah, it kind of also shows like one of the downsides to the Brandon strategy. While you're able to do so much, your opponent knows exactly what you're doing. He knows that you're going to have a Guardian Chimera. He knows you're going to go for it at the end phase. So he's able to read into that play and, play around it. I mean, maybe also knowing that Grave is just so shut down against the Branded deck, just having multiple definitely will ensure victory.
Yeah, and it looks like that was exactly Jesse's thought process when he took that card. And it looked like he genuinely did put a lot of consideration into what to take with Pot of Prosperity, but he certainly must feel vindicated right now, having seen his first Grave go to the graveyard.
Yeah, and when you do something like that, it's a good play, but you have to make sure you're like in the position you're in, you're capable of making that decision. Like you're not in need of something desperately. Like you're able to have that leisure to have 2 copies of this just in case. And I'm assuming that's the case here. But yeah, Brandon Fusion is going to send the Lubellion, Beast of Lubellion from the deck to the graveyard to summon Albion, but Albion won't be able to activate its effect. They're fossilized.
Sure.
Oh, is that the feel of the card?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. So it looks like he's going to tribute the Albion to summon Lubellion.
Can't activate it.
Yeah.
Can't use its effect, though.
He's able to summon it since it's not in effect. It's just as a summon, but
He can attack with a Luber.
I don't know if there's anything in your graveyard that's going to help you with that grave.
Attempt to go to battle.
Yep.
Takes
And
it to the liver.
he will attack with a Luber. And that's it, because level 6 and higher monsters can't attack.
Attempt to go down 2.
Yeah, take notes. If you're having trouble your local OTS with Brandon, maybe you should consider picking up some grave with a super ancient organism, throw it into your side deck. Definitely a strong one.
Works for Jesse Cotton. So Brian will use his Albion's effect in the end phase. Is that Branded Fusion? It's a little off screen.
Couldn't tell, but I would imagine it's something like that. Doesn't decide to set it, so.
I think it was a Branded Fusion, but I don't think there's anything he can fusion summon that will be relevant with the grave on the field.
Almost went to Bari.
All right, here comes Tabari. That one lets you quick effect fusion summon. Since he controls a ninja, you can special summon Mitsu. Oh, I get why Grave is so. Oh no, because Mason's level 6 or higher. Is Mason level 6 or level 5? I'm not certain. I have to look that up. No, he's level 6. Okay. So definitely Grave not great with Mason, but
his effect is a continuous effect that allows the other ninjas to attack.
so
directly,
he can
right?
stand
So
back and watch all the other ninjas
Exactly.
attack while he's just observing from the sidelines. I like that.
He's the commander.
And it looks like Saizo's coming down here for a link summon for Jesse. Saizo doesn't have a level. That's a link rating, so he's going to be able to use
That's
the
right.
effect.
And as we saw, or as we speculate, Jesse also uses Ixies monsters that don't have levels, like Blade Armor Ninja.
Yep.
So he can play around it fairly well.
All right, Infinite Permanence here coming down for Brian, trying to cut off Saizo from grabbing a ninjutsu art. He knows he's going to go for that Iron Digger again, probably.
1800. Yep.
Brian's field appears to be impressive, but he is far behind if he can't get rid of that grave.
And here comes the Notebook of Mystery.
Notebook.
So he's going to be able to set a ninja or ninjutsu from his grave and one from his deck. We'll see what he decides to grab.
It's an incredible card.
Yeah, I mean, anytime the card says you can special summon something from the deck, it's like insane. Like you're going to at least get a second chance. Like, okay, wait, how good is this card? Because like you're summoning something from the deck, it's like emergency teleport vibes. Like,
It's quick play like Emergency Teleport, too.
and it gets you another card from your graveyard too. It's really, really good. It's an ultra out of Darkwing Blast. Oh, he's going to get Ninjutsu Art of Transformation. Okay, that's a cool one. That's the original one you used to do to summon Mist Valley Apex Avian was a good one you summoned with it. White Dragon Ninja. I believe it lets you summon winged beasts, dragons, and insects, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard Jesse actually talking about this combo where he uses to summon Quackimiru Drago.
Oh, that's cool.
So the opponent can't special summon dark and light monsters.
There's so many cool things you can do with the Ninja deck. I really like it. And it's awesome to see a player of Jesse's caliber piloting it.
So he will flip his Ninjutsu Art of Dancing Leaves to get rid of his face-down monster and trade it in for any ninja he wants.
Oh, I did just notice on the table scores, probably happened a little while ago, but Everardo evened things up against the Solid, taking game number 2. Does look like Hanzo is getting special summoned from the Ninjutsu Art of Dancing Leaves.
That'll give him a ninja monster.
Gets Kagero. Hanzo grabbing Kagero is a pretty good duo.
Battle phase.
Battle's fine.
Attack 200.
Oh,
Attack
so-
deck.
So he's going to go to battle phase. Saizo's trying to attack over Luber. Brian's going to activate Branded Banishment. So that lets him special summon a Despia or a level 8 or higher fusion monster from his graveyard to the field. And then he can fuse with any monsters on the field. He can just use 2 of the opponent's monsters if he so chooses, but decides to fuse with his Tragedy and Jesse's Saizo to summon Masquerade the Blazing Dragon.
Okay, so Masquerade's effect is a continuous effect that
Effect?
inflicts 600 points of damage, or requires him to pay 600 life points to use any cards.
You got to pay the toll.
Yeah, so I think so that should get around the grave, right?
Yep.
At least that effect.
Yeah, at least it makes
yeah.
Jesse think about his plays. he only has so many he can activate, and as time is winding down, each one gets him closer to being lower in life.
That's true. I think Jesse is still favored here because at some point he will summon the fusion monster that lets his monsters attack directly. And once that happens, I think his victory will become inevitable.
So you're saying Jesse is inevitable.
No. Drop a drink?
Here we go. It looks like he's passing back. Let's see if Brian has anything
Stand by. Yeah.
to deal with it. I can see a cross-out Designator in his hand. That's not going to come in handy here unless he's packing copies of Grave of the Super Ancient Organism himself, which I can't imagine he is. I do like the inclusion of Cross-Out Designator. I do think Ash Blossom Joy Spring is a very highly impactful card and can be a huge detriment to your turn unless you design your deck to kind of play around it with the deployments and patchworks and all. But it's definitely a good card to have because there's also you're expecting a lot of the mirror match. So you can do your whole combo turn 1, then your opponent summons a Luber and you cross out a Luber, and or even better like Branded Fusion or something like that. It's definitely an insane card in the mirror match.
It's interesting that's still in his deck in game 2, though.
I mean, he got
Cross-out
burned
Designator.
on the Ash Blossoms pretty bad in game 1, so it's rough.
That's true. I don't imagine there's that much more overlap, though, than Ash Blossom.
I mean, it's that bad. Yeah, it's that bad. So he's going to use Brandon and White. That lets him fusion summon, and if he uses Fallen for a Dragon Fusion, it's a fusion summon for a Dragon Fusion, and if he can use Fallen Albaz from his graveyard by banishing it. So he's going to summon Mud Dragon.
Okay, a level 4 monster, so it can use its effect and attack.
All right, Brian's cooking. He's trying to find his way around this grave. Maybe Brian can, I don't know. He has targeting perfection now. This is not too bad. I like the way he's doing this. This is really smart here from Brian. Oh, and he has the regain that he got. I guess I missed that when he activated it, and now he's going to be able to put back that Albaz since it was banished and draw a card. Yeah, Brandon White didn't see play for a long time. Now it's started to pick up and play because just doing your normal branded combo, you get to use the Beastal Saurnier and Albion to send 2 branded spell traps from your deck to the graveyard. So in combination, you can send Brandon White and Branded Retribution, banish the Branded Retribution, add that Brandon White back, and then activate it on that turn. So essentially, throughout your combo, you're just also adding Brandon White from your deck to your hand to progress your plays, and it's really fantastic.
Yeah, we're seeing a much larger variety of branded cards being used in the branded strategy, mostly thanks to the Bestial Lubellion and Saurnier.
Yeah, the Beast of Rebellion was huge for the branded strategy. And Soaring here as well. They're both amazing. Haven't seen Magnumit so much, but I definitely still use Magnumit in my deck.
Yeah. I mean, I'm playing a Sprite deck with Magnum Hut, so
Yeah.
Saronir is not nearly as. I actually cut Saronir for the new Bestial in.
Baldrake? Yeah, Bestial Baldrake, yeah.
But
I actually just cut all my Druis Worms out of my deck, so I'm just playing the Magnumits and Sorniers and Nebelions, but 3 of all. But now it looks like Mud Dragon is going to try and attack Hanzo. So he's going to use the Ninjutsu Art of Transformation.
18, and 600.
Pay 6 to activate it, thanks to Masquerade.
600. Oh, but I taken, yeah.
Yeah. So
Send this and that.
it goes to grave.
Yeah,
oh boy, goodbye Masquerade.
Does it target? No.
it does.
It does. Okay. Forgot to change it.
It wouldn't have mattered if you chained it.
No. Oh, I mean, but prior. I mean, you were just.
I would have chained it there.
Yeah. You were
Yeah, I thought he might have messed up, but Jesse let him know. No, it didn't matter when you did it. I'm still going to be able to do this Ninjutsu Art of Transformation, or Super Transformation. And you were right. There it is, the Drago. You're exactly right. That is what he's going for.
What is this? What is this?
Copy me, Drago. While it's based on the field, neither pick special light or dark monsters. During each Mayan phase, reveal a dragon or Kakimiru Iron Core, or it dies.
Okay. So I didn't hear the first part. Did you say?
While it's based on the field, neither of us can summon light or darks.
No, that's consent. Okay.
All right, Brian with a lot of cards, but not a lot to do. So Drago's going to go to the graveyard, and now Brian's going to attack for 18 with the Luber.
Yep.
All right, Jesse definitely only has 2 cards pretty much to his name on the back foot here this game. Brian activating Brandon Lost. It's not going to really do too much, but if he finds a way to fusion summon during the opponent's turn, he'll be able to add with Brandon Lost.
Effects, return a hand.
Sure.
Yep, it has its own effect to return itself to the hand to be reused later on.
That's your draw for turn.
That's incredible.
Main phase 1.
Sure.
Jesse's down to just a few cards, but Brian basically just has a bunch of 1,800 attack monsters on the field, as far as relevant monsters go.
I don't think Kagero targets, because Kagero can summon from your hand or graveyard, so it doesn't target. And now it's going to summon Tabari. Tabari the Sky Ninja, face down. But he does have 2 ninjas, so maybe we're going to see a fusion summon here.
Indeed we do.
Mazen, I'm assuming. All right, so now I think this is Jesse slowly setting up for what you're talking about, where he gets the Mazen on the field, so he won't be able to keep getting these direct attacks since he only has 2,000 life points left, but he will be able to eventually get more ninjas on the field and attack directly. But it looks like Brian is tributing off his monsters. And he's tributing 2 for Lava Golem, maybe? Oh, Saronir. It's one tribute. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was confused. I was like, what is he tributing 2 for?
Saronir is level 6.
Yeah.
I don't know what that accomplishes, though.
It puts the Lubellion back in the graveyard. You can summon it again and send Saronir. I don't know. He was about to lift the Branded Regained up. I had to look underneath it.
Have to go to battle.
So Brian's going to his battle phase, but Jesse still has
25.
a monster stronger than all of Brian's level 5 and lowers.
Can attack, right? Oh, is Graves 7? Oh, can you not attack with Saronir? Oh, is it? I gotta reread
sure
Grave.
it's a level. Oh, it's special summon level 6 or higher monsters.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I think that's what I'm thinking now, because that sounds kind of familiar. I haven't seen that card in so long, but that's now my recollection.
1 minute left.
So he must have summoned it so that it would still be able to attack.
I'm going to pull it up real fast to make sure. Got to open my Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron app. Anytime you want to look at the exact card text of thing, make sure you download Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron. It has the whole thing. You can build your deck on there. You can test hands. You can see all sorts of stuff on Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron. So make sure you get on your phone and download it right away. It's the best tool you could ever have as a duelist. But yeah, it is level 6 or higher special summon monsters. So that did a duel. It did a lot by tribute summoning for that Soren.
Yeah, so it was actually it was a very insightful play by Brian. Great play because he knew offhand that the Grave of the Super Ancient Organism is powerless against Tribute Summon monsters. And Tribute
Heads up.
Summon Saranir is not a typical play that you make.
Not unless you're tributing off like an Ibli or something. Yeah.
So it was a great move that he saw, and it won him the second duel. Because I thought Cotton was going to run away with it, with Brian not being able to attack with anything that had higher attack points than his Ninja. But Saranir was the exception because he Tribute Summoned it.
Well, I don't. Let's see what we might be seeing what the result is. They might have an extension, but I think time might be called in between their games. Yeah,
I think I did hear that there was only a minute left, like immediately after their game ended, I think it was. So it is possible that it's a draw for this duel. Then we'll have to look into the status of the teammates' matches.
Yeah, I think if they're still ongoing, it would end up being a draw as well. Because I know that one of the game matches was one apiece, just like this one. And I think the other one, Aaron was up one game. But that second game might have finished, and they also might have been at 1-1. But we'll have to see. Maybe they're still. They also. Yeah, it looks like they might have an extension. They're still going. Or did they sign? I can't tell if they signed the slips or not. But it might be doing a draw here. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's still awesome. We got to see some of the ninja action, take place. Unfortunately, it didn't seem like he could get a lot going there. He was kind of banking on that grave from closing out the duel, but it just wasn't quite enough. I mean, I think Brian hadn't encountered that before, but was able to read and understand and found that solution to where he was able to get down some damage. That Mud Dragon fusion summon was really, really smart. I don't even remember how he made the Mud Dragon, but that's interesting.
Yeah, but the impressive thing is that he acknowledged the limitations that were placed on his strategy.
All right, so it is, in fact, a draw. So they are starting off 0-0-1. Draw, not bad. You get 1 point, not a lot.